So I think we really have to take this video to talk about wargaming and, of course, the stepping back of mintovimto from the community liaison position at World of Tanks console. And we're going to basically look at the update news as well. But I think we have to really showcase what a great job mintovimto did over his 18 months of being our community liaison. Really brought back some actual conversation between the developers of the game and the game players, being us, the people watching this video. Obviously you play the game, or at least I would assume so because you're watching this video, but yeah, we really have had a lot more communication. Whether or not we've impacted the game massively, maybe not, but at least we've had our opinions at least taken in from wargaming, and I guess that's always a good thing. Now, as far as mintovimto, obviously you'll remember, or those of you who have watched, he basically led the entire community, at least on Twitch, on all of the social medias. He was the man to go to. And I think that what's happened is, over this last 18 months, obviously everyone's been stuck indoors and probably playing World of Tanks console a hell of a lot more within this last year than previously. And, everyone's voicing their opinions on why the game is bad. It all gets thrown into him, and I can see why a man in his position like himself would have really struggled, because if that was me personally, if it was anyone, it is a massive undertaking to try and please everyone, considering you are the first point of contact. Anyone that hates the game developer or the game company, they're going to you as a community liaison, even though you don't have the facilities to upgrade the game to be able to actually push out that game with content that would be good for the player base, but it's totally behind the developers behind them. And that's why I think it's a very difficult position, because what the community want, but if the people that you're working for essentially don't want to do that, it can really become a pretty stressful situation. And I think that is where this position becomes very difficult. We have, of course, got a new community liaison taking the kind of first point of call, being Modern Callout. You'll be able to obviously contact her, I believe, within this new community liaison position once Minto does eventually finish. Yeah, it's a very difficult position, at least from what I've said. I want to thank Liam mintovimto for all of the hard work he's put in, and for just being a great first point of contact. I know he's really helped out with the community contributors, and that's always really good, at least for me anyway. Hopefully you did enjoy him being a position at wargaming. It's been fantastic to see him just really putting in a shift for wargaming and just everyone, and yeah, I think it's going to be a pretty good kind of opportunity to see where he goes from here. I wish him all of the best, and that is kind of it for everything we have to say with the regards to mintovimto. Obviously leave your comments if you are watching this. Just say a massive thank you in the comment section to mintovimto. I really do think he deserves it, and I wish him once again all the best for the future. Thank you, Liam, if you do decide to actually watch this. Anyway, moving on, we do have to talk, of course, about the most recent update. We're going to cover everything that happened. Do you think that after seeing some of the videos I've posted that some of the Season Pass tanks are overpowered, or do you think a couple of things? But I guess we'll talk about the key things that are going on right now for wargaming, and that is, of course, Wargaming for Extra Life charity in 2021. So what is this operation? Well, it is a 25-hour Twitch stream, and you can enjoy a special in-game challenge and help us raise funds for Children's Miracle Network hospitals. So the idea behind Extra Life is a gaming marathon. There'll be loads of different people streaming it on Twitch, and you can join in throughout this weekend to be able to basically help out the watching the event and basically looking through all of the people that are taking part. Obviously it's hosted on Wargaming's Twitch channel, and you'll be able to do that. what the aim of the actual Extra Life event or marathon is to just raise money for this charity. And obviously, if you're donating any money during that period of time for the live stream, it will go directly towards that charity. The fundraising goal is $5,000 and I really do hope you guys can get involved. If you do have any spare cash, if you are willing to just give it to a charity, this charity is fantastic, and it certainly will help out. It's not going to Wargaming, by the way. It will be going to the charity, so don't go paying it or not paying because you think it's going to Wargaming. It will go to the charity itself. Hopefully you guys, if you can support it, don't be doing it at the detriment to your own well-being. But if you do have any spare extra cash and you are willing to donate it, then it would be fantastic if we can raise up some money for the charity itself. Now, along with just the charity event, we do have some Extra Life challenges which you can complete throughout this next couple of days. So from the 6th of November to the 7th of November, so this is quite a while, you'll be able to complete this challenge, and it is a 24-hour marathon Extra Life challenge. Essentially what you have to do is get 15,000 or more damage in any number of battles to get a ×2 XP booster. And you can complete that 24 times, so over the 24-hour period of time. So whether or not you do it all, say if you could do it all in 1 hour, you could do it. But I think what the basis of this is just to complete it over the 24-hour period. You would essentially have to do like 300 and something thousand damage, which I guess if you're playing in the Cold War game mode is going to be the best option. It is available to all Cold War era modes. So eras, you'll be able to actually go on that, and World War II. So just pick a class if you want to get this done and get some XP boosters. Obviously it's down to you at the end of the day. If you do manage to complete this challenge 24 possible times, you'll get a emblem, this marathon medal, which is a prestige emblem. You can't get it any other time. It is a exclusive emblem. So, if you are interested in getting some customizable content that you will not be able to pick up again, this is just a fantastic way of getting it. You'll just have to get that approximately 360,000 damage in that 24-hour period on the 6th of November. So if you can do that, I would implore you to do so, and hopefully that will be a good stream for everyone. Obviously we've got another week. It will be next weekend that you can actually do this and take part in this event, and I really do hope that you do. Now, obviously, Wargaming, they've got their store on at the minute. They're selling some Halloween stuff. If you're interested in that, just thought I'd put it in there just for any of you that are wanting to actually get some discounts or whatever. I personally haven't bought anything from the Wargaming store, although some of the things do actually look alright. This isn't paid or sponsored by Wargaming. I literally just think some of the, the hoodies, probably not that, or maybe not even that, or that. But yeah, just look at whatever you fancy. Obviously, you can take your own opinion as to what you like. Obviously, they do mugs and stuff like that. But I guess it's supporting the game and you get a kind of cool item. But I don't know, up to you whether you want to pay any money for any of that. But it was on discount, and so I thought I'd let you know. Now, of course, we have to talk about this most recent update with this update news and discover what actually happened with this update. Well, this week, we've essentially got the new Centennial Chieftain T95-59, which I will do a video on this week, or within the next couple of days. Over the weekend, maybe we'll take a look at the tank. It is a Western Alliance heavy tank. We'll compare both the World War II version and the Cold War version, because there are both the Cold War and World War II. I have both of them. It'll be a good comparison. We'll see which one's best, which one performs better, tier for tier, era for era. And yeah, I think that'll be an interesting video to show you guys. Hopefully you'll join me for that. Not only that, we have, of course, the Skoda Earn Challenge. You can get that tier 6 Czechoslovakian tank that's actually okay. Nothing fantastic, but, if you're interested in that. Obviously, the key thing this week being the Chieftain Mark 6 line, that tier 10 British heavy tank that we did a video on yesterday as of the recording of this video, showcasing just how broken the tank is now. It really is perfect within the game. That high DPM on a heavy tank along with the superb turret armor and the decent mobility now make it such a competitive heavy tank, and it really is up to the tier of some of those premium tier 10 tanks that probably Wargaming realise they're too overpowered, and so they're buffing all of the standard tech tree tanks to make them more in line, because I think that that's their kind of way of balancing out the tank rather than nerfing a premium tank and then everyone gets upset. I think that's what they're basically doing here. Now, how do you think that the Chieftain Mark 6, was it a good thing for the game? Is it too far? Has it gone too far? As with the title of yesterday's video, has the Chieftain become too overpowered? Has it returned to its really top spot as the heavy tank tier 10? Does it overtake some of the things like the IS-7, or is it just your average heavy tank? It really is obviously down to your opinion. Of course, you can talk about other tanks. I think it does come to a point where the statistics actually make it pretty good, regardless of whether you don't like the tank or not, because it's a British tank or whatever it is. You have to say that the tank is fantastic now. Now, not only that, obviously, we've had a few things with regards to the changes and issues that were addressed within World of Tanks that obviously some of you will probably want to find out, and that is the PS5 version of World of Tanks Modern Armour. That came out last week, so for those of you that don't actually know, there are two versions now for PS4 or PS5. So if you own a PS5, you can now get the PS5 version, which is essentially like a good or an upgraded version of the game, which gives better settings and filters and stuff like that, and it just makes the game look better. It will be more and more this sort of things going on as the consoles get upgraded, and you can essentially get better stuff. It will be happening with the Xbox Series X as well, so we'll be able to actually get better performance on that, and so I guess maybe you'll be able to get the top end frames per second on console that those consoles offer, and the performance that they do grant you with the graphics cards and the processor and stuff that they get as better than the PS4, the standard version. So, how do you upgrade it? Obviously, you just go to the store. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. You go to the store, find the PS5 game in the PlayStation, then download it. You know, it's pretty standard. I don't know why Wargaming have to show you that. Yeah, that's basically what you want to do. Then, essentially, we have the actual statistical differences that have happened for all of the various different tanks within Cold War. So if you aren't actually sure about the changes that were made to the Cold War game mode and why you might actually want to give it a go again, is basically all of the Cold War light tanks essentially got a pretty sizable nerf. So all of the Cold War light tanks, they used to have an advanced concealment bonus of 37.5%. Yes, that's 37.5% reduction in concealment, meaning that they could be further away by that 27.5% than they are currently at just 10%. So it is really, really ridiculous just how great the advanced concealment used to be on the Cold War light tanks. Now that that's been nerfed, you'll basically be able to spot a lot of the older or a lot of the Cold War light tanks that were just being absolute pests before. There's also been increases to the concealment factor when moving and stationary, so they've got even worse, meaning that you will be able to detect light tanks even closer, which is always good. I think that it was just ridiculous, the fact you could be like 30 meters from a light tank and not even spot it. It was like playing the Craft Panther in the new game mode on Monster Hunter. And that obviously is just that's in the actual game, not just an event. So what actually happened other than the just normal light tanks getting nerfed with regards to their concealment? Well, the Armadillo, so as many of you have called for, has been nerfed. This is a significant precedent for Wargaming to set within World of Tanks, and I think it is fantastic that they have actually nerfed a premium tank myself. Do I think it's a bit shady? Yes, I think it is a bit shady that people pay money and then they get a tank and then they nerf it and then it isn't really what you paid for. But then again, you have to read the terms and conditions on the agreement when you purchase a tank, because essentially what Wargaming say is that you're just renting access to the content that you're paying for. So you don't actually own the content, because that's entirely owned by Wargaming. You're just buying access to be able to play on that content. And so it's the renting that you're paying for, not the actual tank itself, so they can change the tank whatever they want to do with it without it technically affecting the sale or the terms or conditions of when you bought the tank. So that's how they get around it. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying Wargaming should introduce broken tanks and then nerf them. Just don't introduce broken tanks. I mean, test them a little bit more. Take advantage of the super test, and hence why they've increased the amount of players within the super test, and they've been using that a little bit more. Hopefully that will come into effect more and more within the next coming weeks, and we'll have to wait and see. As far as the other things with the Armadillo, essentially it's got nerfed quite heavily. You've got worse terrain resistances, you're worse at trying to stay stealthy, you've got worse hull rotation speed, you're basically worse in so many different ways, to the point where you're going to be very, very lackluster now. I think that was kind of good. It was definitely good for the game of Cold War. Whether or not you guys probably agree with the fact that they've nerfed it is entirely up to you, and they're two separate things. Was it good for the game? Yes. Was it particularly good for the people that paid for it? No, I don't think so at all. So there we go. Hopefully that really covered everything. Obviously the biggest thing being Minto leaving Wargaming and retiring from that position as community liaison, stepping back and resigning, was quite a shock to me. Wasn't actually expecting it whatsoever, and I really will miss having him around as a community liaison. Was a fantastic person, and I really wish him all the best once again for his future, and of course hopefully for the new community liaison that will be stepping up, Modern Callout. I really hope she has a fantastic time as well, and I'm sure she'll be fantastic within that position as well. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Do you have any comments on the updates? What do you want to see next in World of Tanks? Obviously leave them down in the comment section down below, and we'll get into that in a video fairly soon where I kind of collate a lot of information as to what you guys think. What do you want from the game? And hopefully we can have a bit of discussion. Other than that, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and if you want to check out some of the content on screen right now, then you can do, and I hope you all are the best for this weekend. Goodbye.